A very good evening and welcome to Try Time KE. My name is Mohamed Abubakar. We've lined up an exciting show for you. Remember, you can be part of the conversation. The hashtag is Try Time KE. Rugby is back, and this is the first weekend that passed that we've managed to play some rugby, and the round 6 of the Kenya Cup was back as well. We'll be discussing all that, and of course the announcements that were made today. The new CEO confirmed, Sylvia Kamau, and of course the 7 squad that was announced as well by Coach Paul Murunga. Before we proceed, we'd like to also talk about the last 24 hours in the country. It's been a tough 24 hours, and as Bamba Sport, we'd like to extend our condolences to all the families that were affected, all the people that were affected by the 14 Riverside attack yesterday, the 15th of January 2019. And also it will be fitting for me, before we even start the show and discussing, to allow my panelists as well to even give some messages or maybe tribute to what happened yesterday. Benjamin and Lavin Asego.
A very unfortunate situation, Mo. I think we've gone through a lot of this. What is commendable from our forces is that I think we've learned quite a bit and we've trained quite a bit. The response was very fast, and that averted a lot more fatalities that there could have been. For the families who've lost their loved ones, of course, it is not, I can't begin to even fathom what they're going through now. And we are very remorseful at this moment, and pray that they'll get some sort of what can I say, strength and courage to carry on. For those who are injured, we are very sorry about what happened and hope they recover quickly enough.
Lavin?
Yeah, very sad moment for the country. I just hope and pray that this brings us together and doesn't tear us apart, because it's a very sad situation. People snatched from their homes, from their loved ones. But I do believe that we are resilient people, and we will pull stronger. This is the time to be mindful of others, just to be sensitive. And please remember that such heinous acts, they're not synonymous to any particular religion, race, tribe, because it's a heinous act against a people. So this is a time to come strong and be together and help each other out. And of course, condolences to those who are affected by this situation.
Very well. Thank you so much, gentlemen. All right, we'd like to kick off our show tonight and talk about the Kenya Cup. It returns match day 6 that were played over the weekend. We have 2 matches that were featured on Bamba Sport live and free. The first one of the day, Queens against Nakuru. Now this is what a match to start with here.
Yeah. Yes. As we had promised,
yes.
during the week. It wasn't easy, but when everything was said and done, the maturer side, the more composed side won. Nakuru came out guns blazing initially. We quelled the thirst a little. They tried to rally back, and when we stepped it up a notch, they couldn't live with both the speed and the what can I call it, the prowess of the Harlequins team. So we had a very good match. Analytically, it was a bit stressful because we lost a lot of possession in our lineups, especially.
Yeah.
So that was a bit disturbing. But when we got our groove on, we scored quite a few tries, and that was really commendable.
Lavin?
For Queens, it's a good start to the year. It started off a bit slow, maybe because people have been off break for a while.
Yeah.
Passes not going to hand, start, stop. But like Benja said, Nakuru are always a difficult team to play, especially with Ominde there at scrum half. He's the general of the team. But all credit to Kenya Harlequins, quote-unquote home ground advantage. And yeah, it's a good win for them. Commiserations to Nakuru. But I mean, it's still early days. Ben just talked about their lineouts. This is something that obviously they'll be working on, especially moving towards the later part of the competition, because the set piece is a very important part of a game, because that's where you launch your attack. So if that's not working, then I mean, you're at a disadvantage. Of course, the inclusion of George Scott will watch. He has a massive. And just for the viewers, if you want to see pictures of Scott on Watch back in the day, for the 10-year challenge, just see me on the side, because he was not always this pumped. He went to Uganda and did what he did.
We should have a segment here of rugby players.
Yes.
No. We should not.
I think we should come up with a file next week.
Yeah.
To see 10 years.
Exactly.
Just not 10 years ago, I had an afro. Now it's a bit.
Now, very quickly, Benjamin.
Yes.
Are you worried that it's becoming a trend now because it's the second game where you've started the first half with very high intensity, second half a little bit sluggish?
Actually, on the contrary, this is a game we played a lot. I played a lot better in the first half, in the second half.
In the second half,
yes, because we had a lot of firepower on the bench, and when the guys came in, when they started coming in, the game went a notch higher. We were lulled in the first 10, 15 minutes.
It's just the points that didn't come
yes,
quick.
It's the points that didn't come quick. But in terms of the effectiveness of the game, this was a better.
It was a better one.
Game, yes.
I think I like Eden playing at number 10 because I feel one thing I love about Eden is his ability to attack the line. Once he has a good go forward ball, then he forces his centers to run onto the ball. So definitely having him at number 10 gives a bit more attacking impetus to Kenya Harlequins. So good go forward a good go forward ball from their forwards. Then Eden can launch the attack. It's good to see Lyle playing at number 15.
Yes.
Transformed from 9 position.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit solid under the high ball, so definitely Queen's looking good, at least for the first game of 2019.
Contribution of Scott? You're happy with the business?
Scott came in for the last 15 minutes, and he immediately came in, he scored.
Yeah.
And just because he's a mature player, he knows where to run and how and when. He looked and picked the smallest guy in the field and ran through and made the try. For me, and he came in, made, I think, one tackle, a turnover, and a score. So that is very commendable for a guy like that. He's definitely a good find.
Let's talk about Nakuru, because in the second half, they got within distance of catching you guys. But then again, in the last minutes of the game, 2 quick tries, the penalty try and the try that you scored. But before that happened, what went wrong with Nakuru?
I think, like Benja said, they had quite a bit of possession.
Yeah.
And you see, it's in a game of rugby, when you can't play without the ball. So because it becomes a bit difficult defending too much. So for Nakuru, unfortunately, I felt the few possession that they had in Queen's territory, they utilized it. But they were put under massive pressure, and especially for you to concede a penalty try means that you're under massive pressure. So for them, I think they're still within a good position on the log. Just something to work on, maybe going towards the other fixtures.
What did you kill them here, Benjamin?
I think the scrum was, we sent the scrum to school. They tried, but we've got a very, very good scrummaging unit, and that really killed them. And we realized that way earlier in the game. And as for the penalty try, they actually considered a lot of penalties there. That's why we kept pressurizing them, because we came out with an easy 7 points. So we're quite happy with that. So for us, it was knowing where the weakness was and making sure that we got as much points as possible from them. And anytime we scrummaged, they all buckled. I think once you've got a scrummage, a big scrummage, and you can buckle under pressure, then you're losing a lot of ground.
Definitely well said there. All right, we'd like to have a quick listen to what the coach had to say after that match.
Well, I think I'll give it up to Queens for the forward play. I think that's what won the game. I think we're a bit sloppy on defense, and definitely look at a review and see how you can be able to improve before the next weekend's game against Homeboys. Well, I think what Queens did very well was use the set piece, and I think that did well. And I think Eden also had a field day when it regards to the 2 tries that he scored off first play. So I think just a bit of concentration of set piece that messes up. Definitely, worst thing is we get an injury, but loss definitely will bounce back, work on the mistakes we made, and look at how we move on from here.
Yeah, good. I was quite impressed with the boys. They did well. You know, it's a sort of game you've come back from a break, so there'll obviously be some rustiness here and there, but they did the plan. We came out and did what we needed to do. The win plus a bonus point, which is very good for us. You know, Nakuru sitting in fourth place, in fifth, and we were fourth, like we talked earlier. Now you see, now we've built a 5-point gap on them, so that's really positive for us, and we just keep going, and I think we'll just get better. We've talked about this before, yeah, and the last time, you know, when I was with you, we did talk about it, and it's things that we continue to address. What I preferred this time is that we were dominant. It was just now about putting the points on the board, so that's something that we'll be looking at and also talking about with the boys. But we also must appreciate that a lot of changes, different combinations coming from the break, so it'll get better as we go.
Right, quick reactions. Lavin, we'll start with you.
I think what Coach Kadua said about being dominant and not converting it to points is something that I'm sure they'll have a look at because The nature of rugby and indeed sports, if you don't convert a possession into points, then it doesn't count on the board.
Yeah.
And especially going into big, quote-unquote, bigger games against the top 3 teams, any possession that you have in the opponent's part of the field, you need to convert it into points.
Yeah.
Because you find it's not every single game, especially going to later part of the season, that you'll have the luxury of scoring many tries. So if you reach their territory, at least come out with 7 points, 5, or at least 3 points. So converting possession into points, that's one thing that Coach Kado has highlighted, and I'm sure the coaching staff at Queens will address it.
Benja?
Yeah, having said that, I think this is a match that we've gotten a lot more points in the second half.
Yeah.
For us, there's that one step better.
Yeah.
Initially, we just let it go after the 60th minute. So we're trying to improve our last 20 minutes to be a little bit fiery. I think that's working. So we'll take it step by step, and when we get to the championship stage, then we definitely should be in good form.
I like how you're very keen with the numbers here, Benjamin.
Yeah, you've got to be. It's a game of inches.
Exactly.
It's a game of inches, and
yeah,
if you miss out on that, then you might not ever improve. Because
definitely.
If you look at it, generally and say we are still not as sharp as we need to be in the second half. But is there any improvement, or is there a decrease in how much work you're putting? Because we've changed the way we train, and there's a lot more load in the second half than there is the first. In the second half of training, as is the first, and that is yielding us results slowly. So once you're getting 3 points more than you did in the previous game in the second half, then of course you're improving.
All right, now let's move on to the next game that was live on Bamba Sport. Scintillating game, this one. Up until the last minute, Nondi's taking it 22-20 against Impala. Your reactions in this one?
First of all, I'm very happy that Nondi's shut me up, because in the predictions I predicted an Impala win. But then again, we said there's a lot at stake in this particular fixture, because remember, it's also a celebration of Chums, one of the players who passed away, who played both for Nondis and for Impala. So I think the inclusion of Sine at number 10. He's a more experienced fly-off as opposed to Martin Juma, who they played in the first, I think, 3 or 4 games of the season. So the inclusion of Sine, and definitely you could see the composure that he had, giving Nondis the necessary territory, and eventually putting over that pressure kick. Because you see, those are the moments that you come training 30 minutes early for, just to put in those extra 3 or 4 kicks. And this is my advice to the Flyers. You need to come in to training a bit earlier, because at such key moments, that particular kick could either win you or lose you that particular game.
And they have a very good kicker.
Yes, they do.
Sine is a super kicker, and I worked with him was at the Mean Machine.
Yeah.
And he's a sort of player that if you have, you're quite happy for the other team to concede penalties. It doesn't matter where you are, he'll slot them in. And he's got a very cool head. He's got a very cool head, makes very good decisions, and plays with his back row, which you've seen a couple of times, them breaking the line, and it was a very easy thing for them to do, and that gave them the go forward. And once you have a go forward with a team like Nondis, who are very mobile as scrummagers, you get a lot of ground, and that ground yielded the result for them. So as Lavin said, that 10 positions Sine took is super, and his brother at lock was played exceptionally well. He turned over quite a few Impala balls in the line-out and carrying the ball around the field. So the family was quite happy on the weekend.
I think I must say, unfortunately, that I'm worried about Impala.
Okay.
Because remember that loss against Cabras, and they've lost against Nondis. This is an Impala side that the first games of the season, they were winning games, but there was quote-unquote scraping through, just slightly losing out on those bonus points. So at this point, Nondis went to school on Impala and exposed their weaknesses. Of course, the indiscipline that led to penalties. They had very good go-forward ball. We even saw them scoring a try off the scrum, penetrating through the midfield. But going into fixtures coming up, I'm really, really worried about Impala.
I have to point this out. In the top 6 teams, the playoff spots, they're the only team with negative difference.
Yes, and you remember we spoke about that before. It counts for you to score a few more points, and getting those bonus points.
Yeah.
This is when they count.
Yeah.
Because you'll find a team that is earning a bonus every game, earning a bonus point,
Bonus
be it a
point.
loss or a win.
Yeah.
Bonus point. Any team that is doing that now is just going up the
Catching
it's going up the table. So
Yeah.
if you didn't do that earlier on, like you see now is when you can see clearly.
Now it's when it's starting.
Yes, this is and we predicted this by the second weekend of the new year. You'll find everybody in place, and that one there shows you exactly.
By everybody in
who should
place,
be
what
where.
do you mean?
Everybody where they deserve to be. Everybody where they deserve to be.
Okay.
You look at number 1 and 2, you realize those guys are the ones who put in either a lot more work or a lot more money into it. When you go to Harlequins and Nondis, Impala and Mwamba, you'll find those are the guys who are putting in a lot more.
You almost
now,
feel there's going to be a battle from
That
number
is-
5 to 8.
actually, yes, and the battle is also in pairs.
Yeah.
So KCB is battling it out with Cabras at the
Cabras.
top. Nondis is okay. Now the battle from 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6 will still be quite a battle.
Okay.
Homeboys at this point are looking quite slippery.
Yeah.
But if you look at the points for them, it's only a point. So there'll be quite a lot of movement. There's still a bit of movement between Nakuru, who are 8th,
Yeah.
and
They're hosting
Kenya
Homeboys
Harlequins.
this weekend.
And
Yeah.
Kenya Harlequins who are 3rd. You can imagine all those from number 3 to 8. There's still a lot of fluidity
Yeah.
as we go forward, because the next weekend's matches when Cabras don't have a very, I don't know. who
Now
they
that
play.
you've already mentioned it, we can put it up on screen.
Yes. So as
the
you can-
upcoming fixtures exactly for this particular weekend that's coming. The 2 games that will be live on Bamba Sport, of course, will be in Nakuru. Oilers against Strathmore Leos, who are still chasing their first win
my
of the
goodness.
season, and Nakuru against Homeboys. This is a big one because
I don't envy Leos in this one. Those Oilers are bad news. Those Menengai Oilers are bad news.
at home.
Yeah, at home, anywhere they're playing, they're like bees. Those guys are really good at what they do, and this is a scalp they will not let go of. This is a scalp they'll not let.
This is a chance for them to earn
Yeah,
those
Strathmore
points.
Leos has been on the down, and downer. So I'm not sure that they'll pull through this. If they do, it will be a miracle.
So you're talking about Cabras.
The Cabras, yes. I was talking about Cabras earlier.
Yeah.
So
That's a tough one, though.
not
Or is
really.
it an easy one?
Not really. Cabras have the firepower to just manage a win at the very worst. And they're already where they are.
They've already done their business in
They've
terms
done their
of
business, yes.
points scored. and
Yes. In fact, for Cabras now, after this game, even if they scrape to just a win.
wins
Yeah.
for the rest.
No, not even for the rest.
No?
Even just
Yeah.
the Nondis game, then they definitely will go in for the playoffs. It is just where they'll finish. But otherwise, they should be able to easily take on.
Now we have to be fair to Lavini and talk about Mwamba.
You know how
After
Mwamba
last
are.
week's-
You know how Mwamba are.
After last week's stamping
Well, I think
of Strathmore.
one thing I must commend Strathmore
Yeah.
for is they started really well because they put us under a lot of pressure. They were making their tackles and they were shutting us out. We were not getting good gain line. But I think, and speaking to the coach later on, I think once they started becoming tired in the second half, they fell off tackles a bit. And if you notice, most of the tries were scored in the second half. So that's testament to Mwamba's fitness, thanks to Coach Bling and Jeff, who's the S&C coach. And that's something definitely for Johnny to look at, especially if they're traveling to Oilers, who, as like Ben just said, they're very, very tough. And I told Johnny it will be a very brutal battle against the Oilers. Now, for Mwamba taking on Impala, Impala is a wounded lion, so to speak. Wounded gazelle. Because normally a wounded gazelle is dead. Anyway. But I don't want
You're
to.
done.
Olympic. Yeah, Olympic.
For easy
reference is a limping gazelle. So definitely they want to.
You better hope it's a win this weekend.
It must be.
Love it.
No, is it?
They want to right those wrongs. So definitely the team that you saw losing to Nondis, they will be doing their homework.
Yeah.
Because you see, I mean, the beauty of the Kenya Cup these days, you have access to to videos and things like that. But Mwamba also, if they have something to say about it, if they play the way they played against Leeds in the second half, I think this will be a very, very entertaining match to watch.
All right, now we'd like to move on. Those are the fixtures that will be played over the weekend. Now we want to talk about the bigger picture. Kenya Rugby Union today had a presser, and they had two major announcements. Of course, the squad that will be heading to the Hamiltons and Sydney Sevens, and of course, Sylvia Kamau being confirmed as the CEO of the Kenya Rugby Union. Now we managed to get in touch with her earlier this evening about their appointment, and this is what she had to say.
Hello.
Hello, good evening, Sylvia.
Good evening.
This is Mohammed Abubakar from Bamba Sport.
Yes.
First of all, congratulations on officially being confirmed the CEO of the Kenya Rugby Union. How are you feeling?
I'm happy. I'm happy that the confirmation has come. We expected it sometime in December, as we had planned earlier, but it has come now, and it's more than welcome.
Would like to have your thoughts on the 6 months that you are acting CEO and interim, for a better word. What have been the challenges you faced, and how have you dealt with them?
The 6 months have been challenging. First and foremost, it was not a prepared move. When the former CEO resigned, it was not something that was anticipated, and so we had not planned for it. But all in all, there were numerous challenges in the last 6 months. Most of them being financial. The other challenging thing about the last 6 months was the transition of the Kenya Shujas, and that is the management of the Shujas, the technical bench of the Shujas, which I think also we've been able to handle in our step quite well. And we look forward to the coming year, and as we move on and as we try to improve more.
Definitely. It is 2019. You're now officially the CEO. You mentioned the Kenya Sevens team had a slow start in the World Series, Sevens Series. We have the Hamilton Sevens upcoming. But now, what are the plans in general as well now that you're officially the CEO? What are your plans now?
First and foremost, mine is to make the Kenya Sevens stable. The Shujaa team is our flagship team. Okay, not really, but the flagship, but it is what is on the international scenes a bit more than in a year than the Simbas. For me, key is to have the team settle down, to give the coach peace of mind to coach, and to bring, just to bring harmony in the team.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Hopefully, you can meet again and interact more. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you.
All right, definitely. We thank Sylvia for making time to speak to us today. Very quickly, your reactions, gentlemen, to her sentiments.
I think, first of all, congratulations on your appointment. I pray day and night for you in this new role because your work is cut out for you.
Yeah.
And one of the things I appreciate about what she's said is she's alive to the challenges that the Kenya Rugby Union are having, just so that so is everyone else. So I'm more interested in what she's keen to do moving forward. Yeah. Because remember, the season for the Sevens has started. Yeah. 15s, we tried to do the repechage. We all know how that went. Yeah. The other thing I like about Sylvia and what she said is she said they offered senior players contracts which they're not comfortable with. It's their right, which is a shift from her boss, who said there's senior players holding KRU at ransom. We are not holding KRU at ransom. Well, I say we, as though I'm still there. But
just as well, you're in solidarity.
Yeah, exactly. If we are at liberty to either accept or deny the terms of employment. Yeah. And these people who keep saying that senior players on strike, you can't strike for a job that you're not yet employed.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's, it's still, we are yet to see what she wants to implement, obviously, as a union. But congratulations to Sylvia.
Benjamin.
I say congratulations tongue in cheek, because I know for sure that nothing is changing soon. Nothing will change soon. The only thing that will change is a new chairman come March. And that is going to be the determinant of one, getting money into the union, and two, for her keeping her job. It's a political office.
Yeah.
She's appointed. And now she's just been appointed by the board that is there. What will happen is, if there's a new chairman, which there will be, who's not aligned to them, then she'll be kicked out.
So what you're trying to say, she's not right for the position?
No, of course she's done her bit. And the good thing is that we got Sylvia this time.
Yeah.
We got a lady who is a bit tougher, so to speak. And there's a lot of banter that goes on, but we were a bit lenient with her. And she's trying, and we all know what she's outlined as the problems. All of us know what are the remedies to make sure that this happens. Now, difficulties. If we haven't gotten any money, because of this board that sits there, she won't get any money pre-March.
Yeah.
In March, we only have two tournaments to go.
Yeah.
Taking care of Kenya Sevens first. That Kenya Sevens has always brought the money. No board has thought of taking care of the Sevens. It won't start today. When the 15s is on, they'll be sorted. When the ladies is on, they'll be sorted. When under 20s are there, they'll be sorted. It's the same board, so nothing changes, and the CEO can't override.
So the CEO can't do, but now, with her position, with the vast experience you have, Benjamin, what would you advise her? What are some of the things she can...
What I'd advise Sylvia today is she should propose to the board that the running of this game in terms of money, both finding it and running that money that comes in is done by a private entity, not the rugby union board. All she should dispense is the money that comes to the union to run the secretariat. So this is what happens. Moha comes with $2 million and says, I want to sponsor the Kenya team. So your name is there, Moha is there. Moha decides, he picks an office that runs these salaries and bits and pieces like that. Gives the union a portion of that money to run its secretariat. Because then I'll come and say, how much do you need for secretariat for the year? Say 40 million. Okay, fine. He'll take some 40 million. How much does it take to run the women's team? Put it aside within that organization. The under 20s, the men's and the age groups.
Yeah.
So all that money that needs to be dispensed to people, to players, to coaches, and to anybody else involved in playing the game is dispensed directly from this company to the players and those units. If that is not done, the problems, I'm still going to hear them in April and June and July.
So, Lavin, the problems might not be addressed up until the change of that board in March.
Well, you see, everything, it depends on goodwill and how willing you are to talk to stakeholders. One thing I tell the Kenya Rugby Union and the custodians of the game, the moment you look at yourself and you look at a quote-unquote certain group of players and look at them as the enemy, that's how you've lost the plot.
Yeah.
The senior players are not the enemy. Senior players love playing this game as much as anyone else.
And they've done it before for nothing.
For nothing. Let me tell you an example. There was a particular day when I still had hair and was playing for the national team. We had a similar situation. We did not have, the money that was allocated for the Sevens program was not what we wanted as senior players. But one director took us to Impala, Le Pavilion. He sat us down, opened his laptop, and showed us the budget for Kenya Rugby Union that's been allocated to the Sevens. He told us, whatever we do, this is the budget that we have. So as senior players, we decided, you know what? We understand you. We will not push for more salaries. Instead, what we'll do is that extra money, you push it to the bonus. Let us fight for the bonus. Let us be rewarded for work done. So you see, it was still the X amount of money, as opposed to asking for more to be added. We said, you know what, from this X, take half of it, push it towards the bonuses. But one thing I appreciated about him, he was candid and he said, you know what, up and your malituko. But this current setup, that's why you can have a chairman saying to the press, and this is a quote from the press, that we will not be held hostage. Let me tell you one thing. Where's my camera? That's my camera. No chairman is responsible for selecting the team. So you cannot tell people that you will never play for the national team As who?
That is wrong. It is so wrong to think that you can actually bully the players.
You cannot.
It is nonsense. And I keep telling these guys, don't be arrogant. This game does not belong to you. It belongs to Kenyans. And these players sweat hard and bleed for this country. You can't address them like they're not stakeholders.
Do you have a players' union with rugby?
Ask Paul Odera what happened when he suggested a players' union.
I was part of it.
Because this clearly,
I was part of the formation of this.
clearly conversation is
And
needed
we were
here,
victimized for
gentlemen,
this. But luckily for me, I was able to fight whilst inside. And when what Lavin is talking about was part of what I negotiated for. And we can't treat these players as if they are doing them a favor.
Yeah.
They are not, in fact, the players are doing us as a nation a favor.
A favor.
Yeah. Do you know what their counterparts are paid? Even as in little teams like Spain and Portugal and Japan, they are paid handsomely to play for their nations. So you come and tell us, oh, just be patriotic, it's okay. I'd rather if they said, guys, this is where we are. There's no money now. If you as the troops went out and fought for this money, fought for the wins, I will find the money to give you bonuses. Everyone will run for it. Any time we've pegged performance to bonuses, the team has done extremely well. So why can't you do that? So you don't have money. Send Lavin and the rest of the guys out. And they come here with 2 cups. Who won't be running to give us money?
Now my question, I want to pause first of all.
Yes.
Before we continue. I see this topic is very sensitive.
Extremely.
Extremely.
We've lived this life, we know.
I can feel the tension in this room. So, the reality is that KRU is still the body
Yes.
running rugby.
Yes.
What can be done to build that rift, or rather, what's broken right now between the players and the union? What can be done so far with the situation that
At the moment, both parties, we are here. Our egos are here. And one ego raises, I mean, if you address me the way you've addressed me, obviously I'll become defensive and I'll say, you know what, I'll throw my hand to help with it. But if you come to the spirit of reconciliation and reaching down and talking and actually addressing issues that they are. And you see, one other thing that I don't like about this particular body is you never really address the issue. You sweep it under the rug. And you tell us the players covered the logo of the sponsor. They did not wake up one day and decide, you know what? You address why they covered it. Yes.
For fun.
Let's
cover it. Let's see what
Let's
happens.
cover it. Before covering it, you ask yourself, what happened 2 months prior to the logo being covered? So I think we just need to be honest with ourselves and say, you know what? We've messed up here. We promised you this, we haven't delivered. Okay, players, we messed up here. Blocking out the sponsor was a bit too much. So you see, just be alive to the fact that we are in a place where we need to get out. And I mean, at some point, the rugby has to go on.
Yeah, because even the senior players do want to play rugby.
Yes.
It's not like they want
not only play rugby. Play for their nation.
Yeah,
Because-
play for their nation
so
as well. Yeah.
For every tournament I go for, I become not only a better player, but a good ambassador for both myself, my family, and the country.
And the country.
So everyone wants that.
It is
to
a
be
big
in their
deal.
CV. It's a massive deal.
Yeah.
Moha, today doors are open for me, not because I'm the most handsome looking guy, but it's because of the service.
Got a fresh cut today.
Fresh card, I'm looking nice. Not because of that,
Yeah.
but even the Kinyozi today treats
Yeah.
me in a certain way.
Yeah.
He did it quickly so I could get to studio,
Yeah.
just because of the service to the nation. If you deny somebody that because you're being arrogant, that's wrong.
And you see, the thing is, one thing I have to say about what Benja said, rugby has given us opportunities. So for the young guys like in Olindi coming up, they are caught up. They might not enjoy what we enjoyed based on the situation. Yeah.
Definitely.
Because now they have to work from the ground up. Can you imagine that for young guys?
So definitely conversation is needed. Dialogue is needed here.
There has to be.
Players,
Now the problem
players
is
union, maybe.
the problem is this is how the rugby union is. We're the tough guys. We can sack all of you. And the players tell the players, we can sack all of you. There's players to play.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. There's always be players to play. There'll always be people to coach the game. But don't step on everyone's toes. Do you think if you send me to talk to those players, they won't be playing for Kenya today? They would be playing for Kenya today. If you send me directly, not that I'm asking them to, they might pay quite a bit of money. But if you send me to those players today, Moha, I assure you they'll play for Kenya. I assure you. I've done it before with nothing.
They've shown it as well before that they can.
There are days, like Lavin is telling you, we are being told we are not guaranteed to get any money within 6 months. And guys played. What is the big deal now? But if one guy is saying this, if the chairman is addressing you, being the boss, and tells you, you, first of all, you'll never play for Kenya team. He's never coached anyone. He's never even played the game of rugby. As whom is he speaking?
All right. All right. I'd like to read a few comments here. Don't hate me, man.
No. Moha, do you know the challenges these guys go through? Waking up at 5 o'clock, running through traffic, to beat that traffic and thugs on the road.
Do you know a player was attacked and slashed when we were playing? Because
so the commitment here
he
is
was
not
at
a question.
Kabete at 6 a.m. waiting
The
for
commitment
attack.
of the players
is
no
not a
question.
Never
Clearly.
question.
Never question.
Never question players'
Clearly.
commitment.
We'd like to talk about the squad that was named
Yes,
for
yes.
the upcoming sevens legs that will be played in Hamilton and Sydney. We have a few comments here that I've sampled. We have David Onserio Monda saying, the fiasco that has caught the 7 senior players and the union, coupled with the debacle of the 15's repechage outing, is enough to force the whole board to resign. Omwela and his team need to call it a day and let a team of professional administrators to run Kenyan rugby. We have Vincent Ababu saying it is going to be tough for the young team named by Paul, but let them show what they have. We can't say eti hawawezi. I believe anyone can.
Of course.
Definitely.
So very quickly, your reactions to the squad that was named today.
First of all, you can see some of the players have played at that level before. Obviously, the captain, Jacob Oje. I must admit, I was a bit worried, not worried, but I was a bit keen to understand why Jacob Oje was given that role.
As captain.
Yes.
Yes.
Yet you have Michael Wanjala, who's played under, I think, 3 coaches.
And you have Cyprian Kuto as well.
Yeah, you have Cyprian Kuto, who's also played. We have, who else?
We have new boys as well.
Yeah, we have new boys.
We've got...
We have a Mwamba rep there.
That's
Daniel.
If you missed from there, then we'd have a problem.
William Reeve, of course, an inclusion from the 15s. I know he's been longing to play for the 7s on the international scene.
Yes.
Let's see what he has to offer.
Provided he doesn't pass the ball very long to the touch. William, I hope you're listening to me. If you pass the ball to touch, you don't come back to the club.
But all the best to the boys. I think the Wild is your oyster. Go out there, enjoy, have fun, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Do you know what, Moha? If these guys go out with that heart that we had these Lions going out for in 2009, going for the World Cup, if they just said, everything else aside, and let's go and play rugby, we could claim a few scalps. And if we do get to the quarterfinals or win the Challenge Cup, that is good enough for Hamilton. And then go on to Sydney and see what you can do. But I think once they take, sometimes you're cornered.
Yeah.
If you take the reins of the horses
Yeah.
and say, this is it. We always say, we have a saying in sevens, for daddy to daddy. So you'd rather die than let the team down. If you have that attitude, we should be able to
against all odds get the points, because we really need to kickstart
we definitely do.
The season. All right, gentlemen, time is unfortunately not on our side, but definitely all the talk here is productive.
Hopefully.
For the betterment of the game.
We've said it, so hopefully it can be taken on board.
Exactly.
But knowing people in the board, they might not take it on board.
It's a conversation that we need
Thank
to
you so much, Benjamin, for the fantastic analysis and Lavin as well. Let's meet again next week on Wednesday, same time right here. Until then, keep it sporty.